Today, we are cracking the code on what really truly drives us. We're going to get into everything from why you choose to get that extra cup of coffee to what fuels your biggest, most ambitious life goals.
I mean, you've probably thought about it, right? What is that difference? It's not just about being a morning person. It's something much deeper. It's about having a powerful internal force, that personal why that tells you where to point your energy. And by the time we're done here, you're going to have the blueprints to figure out your own.
All right, so to solve this whole puzzle, we've got to start with the most basic piece. Let's talk about what a motive actually is.
Think of a motive as the engine that's running inside you all the time. It's that mix of needs, wants, and desires that gets you up and moving. It's the why behind what we do, that invisible force that pushes us into action.
And this engine, it runs in a constant loop. It all starts with an unmet need, right? Let's say you're hungry. That creates a kind of tension. That tension then drives a behavior. You go make a sandwich. And finally, you reach the goal. You eat the sandwich, the need is satisfied, and the tension goes away. But here's the thing. As soon as that need is met, another one is right there, ready to take its place.
So we've got that basic cycle down. But now, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Over the years, some really brilliant minds have mapped out frameworks to help us understand this whole process on a much grander scale.
We're going to walk through 3 of the most important, most influential theories out there. You can think of them as different maps, all trying to explain the same complex territory of what makes us tick.
Our first blueprint comes to us from the psychologist Abraham Maslow. He came up with this idea of visualizing all our human needs as a pyramid. So here's Maslow's big idea. We are motivated by our needs, but in a very specific order, from the bottom of the pyramid up. You have to take care of the basics first, the physiological stuff like food and water. Only then can you even start thinking about safety. And once you feel safe and secure, you can focus on social belonging, then building your self-esteem, and then, finally, you can reach for the very top, which is achieving your full potential. It's like building a house. You can't start decorating the penthouse before you've poured a solid foundation.
And this right here is the absolute core of Maslow's theory. We are driven by what we don't have. Once you land that secure job and you've got a steady paycheck, the promise of more security just doesn't fire you up in the same way. Your motivation, your focus, it automatically shifts up to the next level of the pyramid.
Okay, let's move on to our next blueprint. This one comes from Frederick Hurstberg, and he's suggested that we should think about satisfaction at work like a coin with 2 totally different sides.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. On one side of the coin, you have what he called hygiene factors. These are things like a decent salary or safe working conditions. If you don't have them, you'll be miserable for sure. But here's the twist. Having them doesn't actually make you happy or motivated. It just makes you not unhappy. It's like good plumbing in your house. You only ever notice it when it's broken. Then, on the other side of the coin, you have the motivators. Now, these are the things that actively create satisfaction and really drive you to perform. Things like getting recognized for great work, having a real challenge, and seeing opportunities to grow.
All right, our last blueprint shifts the focus a little bit. It's less about our internal needs and more about the assumptions that managers make about us. Douglas McGregor argued that every single manager basically operates from one of 2 completely different belief systems. Okay, so you have the Theory X manager. This person fundamentally believes that people are lazy, they'll avoid work if they can, and you have to basically force them to do their jobs. It's a carrot and stick approach, but mostly stick. But then, you have the Theory Y manager. This person believes the exact opposite, that people are naturally self-motivated, that they enjoy their work, and that they're creative problem solvers. And McGregor's big point was that a manager's underlying belief, whether it's X or Y, completely shapes the environment and the motivation of their entire team.
So we've got the pyramid, we've got the 2-sided coin, and we have these 2 different views of humanity. That's all great in theory, but how does this stuff actually get used in the real world?
Well, in practice, it really boils down to 2 main types of tools in the toolkit. First, you've got your financial or extrinsic rewards, things like salary and bonuses. These are really powerful for hitting those lower-level needs on Maslow's pyramid, and they're what Hurstberg called hygiene factors. But where the real magic happens, the thing that gets people truly fired up, is with the non-financial or intrinsic rewards. We're talking about praise, new responsibilities, chances to grow. These tap into those higher-level needs for esteem and self-actualization. These are the real motivators.
And a really powerful technique that puts all this into practice is something called job enrichment. Now, this is not about just piling on more work.
It's about giving people better, more meaningful work. It means adding more responsibility, more autonomy, more challenge to a role. So instead of just assembling one part of a product, maybe you get to do quality control or even have some input on the design. It's a direct application of Herzberg's theory, making the work itself the reward.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that there is no single one-size-fits-all switch you can flip for motivation. It's this complex dance between our most basic needs, the environment we're in, and the psychological rewards we're looking for. To get a truly motivated person or a motivated team, you have to have that foundation of fairness and security. But what makes them truly soar are those opportunities for achievement, recognition, and personal growth.
So we've looked at the blueprints from Maslow, Herzberg, and McGregor, and they give us this incredible language to understand what drives us. So just take a second to think. What level of the pyramid are you on right now? What are your true motivators, not just the hygiene factors? And maybe the most important question of all is, what can you change, starting today, to align your life with what really drives you? What's in your motivation code?